Hi, this is Bill Kearns from Blue Kernel IT. This video is about the Academic Test Student Portal. This is an MVC4 application. I'm using Razor for my CSHTML for my view layer. And here's my controller layer. Most of these were generated from the scaffolding of the model that I'm using. And the model is my database. It's Entity Framework 6. So I've also used Entity Framework 4 in a different project. I liked Entity Framework 4 because it extended link, and currently this Entity Framework 6 is hooked up to the NuGet project. So I don't know, in the real world production, I don't think I would use a project hooked up to NuGet, but for demo purposes it's fun to play with. So here I have my home controller. Index is the default route that it would hit when a user would first contact the website. A large part of this demo is that I've secured these web routes using the forms authentication ticket and roles. I did it in a very slim way, in a quick way. Whenever a user would hit the site, if the site hadn't been up or compiled, it would call initialize roles. So what this does is, in application-wide, we have the roles object and we create a role. This is all based on an enumeration user role type. So here I have user role type student, teacher, and admin. These values are not in the database. It was a quick, slim way of doing it. So it does a null check to make sure that this role doesn't exist, and then adds them if they don't. From there, a user would go to log in, which is this page. The login, here's the login page. I wrote a custom helper method HTML radio for enumeration. All this does is generate the HTML text, and it enumerates the enum custom role types and adds the keys and values to it, so that it transforms that enum into radio button values. So once a user would log in, say for instance, we would do me at me.com. This is a student role. My password. And log in. Here we go. This is a student role. And log in. I've secured this because currently I'm logged in as a student role. After logging in, I get redirected to the home controller. So here is the login method, where I look at which enum, which radio button was selected, and then I run my stored procedure from my database based on if the user is a student or a teacher. I haven't filled in any functionality for the admin yet. If they do authenticate, then I use the forms authentication and add the user to the role. So then I redirect to the index. So once I do that, the index is the route from the home controller index. I'll fill in the view data user session equals the session of user session, which is the forms authentication ticket. That way in the CSHTML, I have an if statement, and in each one I make sure that the forms authentication ticket didn't expire, so that the session's not expired, and check which role the current user context is. So if it's a student or a teacher. If it's a student, I get this link to view a report or other reports as I would write them. And if it's a teacher, then I get this link of data values to modify from the scaffolding. So to test this, since I'm logged in as a student, I know that I can't do teacher and then new, or create, which, just to be sure, yeah, create. All I would get is redirected to the login page. So I'm using the decoration authorize roles. So you can add any amount of these in each one to which role you'd like to authorize, so that currently the in-memory roles that the user has to be logged in as that role. So I just put this decoration on every controller method that I wanted to protect. That way if someone's logged in as a student, they can't modify anything from the ORM that was automatically scaffolded. So, and to show that, I'll sign out as me and sign in as Mr. Milton. And here, now I could say teacher create would go to the teacher create page. So you could work with the ORM. That's where the admin came in. The admin was going to be assigned to certain entities. I haven't extended any of that functionality to the database yet. I just thought this was a quick way to do it, and a quick way to demo an extension method, and using some of the forms authentication built in along with the automatic scaffolding for the data model. So additionally for this demo, I did do a cube report using a Tablix. I've also worked with Crystal reports and Jasper reports and SQL Server reports. So this is the fourth report language I've used, which is just the Tablix student. And here I'm going to view this report. Here is the report method. Well, here's the report. Here is the report method. View report. And I use my data source, call that, add a report data source as a data table, set some device info and the report properties. I could export this as a PDF, Excel sheet, etc. And I use the file stream result as an action result, and then call the execute result. And if that doesn't work, I just return a view to the view. So this report is actually a cube report. So for this cube report, I've used a view because the workaround for the Tablix, it was very single dimensional. It didn't like having more than one data source and any joins in that. So I created a view as an intermediary. This is the data, or these are the tables that the view uses, and here's a copy of the query. Rather than leaving the nulls in this cube, I filled them in with meaningful labels, which was rather time consuming. But I have n squared minus 1 combinations, and then I have 4 columns of that assign labels and assign grouping. So I also used the grouping function to get this report into something really meaningful. So school-wide, all classes, all tests, all students is a 74.6. It's really a lot of data there. So here's the cube query, and here's the view. And then the view initially queries the final result table. This is the naked data, which is just a bunch of dummy data with filled in foreign keys and a score. So that demos MVC and reporting and some decorations, links, static extension methods, and working with CSHTML. Thanks for your time. This is Bill Kearns from Blue Kernel IT. Take care. Bye.